Doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or what kind of dog you have, Flyball is the sport for you. Welcome back, guys. It's Alex again for another Flyball and Friends interview. Today we're talking to someone from Newfoundland, and it's Amanda. Without further ado, here she is. Welcome, Amanda. I'm so glad that you could take time out of your day to be here with me. If you could introduce yourself for everyone today.
Hi, Alex. First of all, I should say thanks to Christy for challenging me to do this interview. I'm Amanda Joji Leblanc, and I'm in Blandford, Nova Scotia, Canada.
Excellent. And how long have you been playing flyball for?
Since 1999.
Wow.
So a little bit.
And what team do you play on?
I'm the team captain of Maple Leafs Flyball Club.
Awesome. And how many dogs do you have?
We have 10.
That's not too bad. You still haven't caught up to me. You're good.
Yeah, it's some days it's good, some days it's bad.
For sure. Now, what do you do for a living?
My husband and I own a boat shop right now. We just officially purchased it right in the middle of the pandemic, so that's been fun, but all is well so far. Knock on wood.
Good. Congratulations on that.
Thank you.
All right, so what got you playing flyball in 1999?
I got my very, very first pet in my whole entire life. I was never really allowed to have a pet growing up. So as soon as I moved out, I got my first dog, a lab named Zoe, and I knew nothing about dogs, like nothing. So we started doing obedience classes and all that jazz. And at the time, my obedience instructor had just started learning about flyball and wanted to start teaching it. So she's like, that dog would be perfect. So we started flyball classes, and 4 weeks later, we were in our first tournament.
Wow. So he learned quick.
Well, yeah. I mean, the turn was not perfect, but back 20 some years ago, it didn't, wasn't quite the same as now.
Point and shoot was back in those days.
Correct.
All right. So what would be something you would recommend to someone starting out in flyball?
Take your time with your dog. Don't push. Every dog is different. And also find a team and a club that you connect with, because they're going to turn into your family. That's how we are. That's very important to everyone, I think, on my team, is that we all mesh well, not just the dogs, but the people as well.
For sure.
And if you don't have that and you're not happy, that's super important.
It keeps you around for a lot longer if you find that good group of people.
Absolutely. Yep.
All right. So at what age do you usually start your flyball training at?
My own dogs, they start foundation stuff, when they settle in the house, like when it seems appropriate for them. Every dog has been different, and every dog has sort of needed different training from different aspects, depending on their mindset, really. My last border collie, he was a bit of a dork. He's still a dork. He'll always be a dork. So his training didn't, really start immediately. Whereas my last two dogs, they've been a little more focused to start to do little retrieves, not big retrieves or long things, but just little things from the beginning. Focus work and recall.
For sure. Now, is there a typical age or anything of how long it takes to usually train a flyball dog?
Yeah. Again, I have found it really does depend on the dog, and even sometimes the handler.
Sure.
I have some teammates that are too busy to do homework legitimately, and I understand that. Then you have other teammates that are like, oh my gosh, I'm doing this, this, and this, and this. And it's like, okay, that's awesome. Like, don't overdo it. But, depending on the dog and the handler, they can advance quick or it can be slow, and that's okay.
How often does your team practice?
Well, pre-pandemic, during peak season, twice a week. We have not practiced. I think our last practice was March 15th. We're going to do a little practice this weekend for the first time.
Hooray!
So I'm kind of excited about that. Yeah, I'm excited to see everybody.
For sure. Now, do you do anything at home then to help with flyball?
We have a training building on our property. When I get my puppies, I do a lot of focus work. I'll gate my crazy dogs off in part of my house, and I'll do, you know, tug games and retrieve games with my other dogs right beside them so that they learn right from the beginning some distraction work, because some of my dogs are quiet and some of them are very loud. Other than that, in the house, not a whole lot. And since the pandemic, I've gone and I've done one set of recalls with the puppy, and we've done maybe 3 or 4 sets of wall hits with her. Otherwise, we've just played and hiked and retrieved.
Yeah, that's cool. Make them still have that puppy in them, right?
She's a year, but she's still my puppy.
For sure. Now, how often would you say you go to tournaments?
We have 8 to 9 tournaments a year here, from usually April till October, sometimes November. Just sort of depends on when venues are ready. So yeah, 8-ish a year, I'd say.
For sure. Now, do you travel lots for flyball, or do you mostly just do local stuff?
We mostly stay in region. We have traveled to Ottawa to do a couple fly tournaments. And if my teammate Monique and I had gone to Can-Am twice, and then another year my teammate Shauna came with us as well, and a couple other people from our region. We made kind of a little mini trip and went and watched Can-Am all together. Did not obviously participate, but really cool to go watch it live.
For sure. How far of a drive is that for you?
I think 30 hours.
That's a long drive. That's almost 3 days, basically.
We flew.
Oh, you flew?
We flew.
Oh, you cheated.
We did cheat.
That's awesome. Now, do you have any outdoor tournaments in your area?
No.
Do you
Thank
have?
goodness.
Do you have a favorite tournament that you like to?
I'd be scared.
Do you have a favorite tournament that you love to go to besides any of the championships?
We honestly love, like, as a team, we love each tournament for different things. So we kind of get excited about, we like to go out to eat together, and we plan that, and, you know, drinks after the tournament, and different venues have, you know, fenced in areas to let young dogs play. So each tournament we sort of get excited about for different reasons. So no real favorite to speak of.
Fair enough. Now, is there something that you take to a tournament that you think somebody else would think is weird?
I actually called my friend and teammate Monique to ask her that, because we've traveled together a few times. I'm like, which weird item do I tell? So she said my driving socks. So at the end of a tournament, when we're driving home, I keep a nice warm fuzzy pair of socks in my car that I put on for the drive home because they're so cozy.
That is weird. That's good. I like that. All right. So is there somewhere in the world that you would love to still go, whether it's compete, train, or even just watch?
I would love to compete at Champs or Can-Am with our A-team, but I know it's not ever going to happen with the length of drive that it would take to do, but I would love to do it.
For sure. Now, what would be one of the most important things you learned from flyball when you first started?
That it's a team. So you win together, you lose together. All the little successes, everyone celebrates. You know, your first title is, everyone's ecstatic for you. Everyone's happy. You know, and you walk off the lanes and you're hopefully still laughing even if you win or lose.
For sure. Now, out of all your dogs, or maybe somebody else's dog, do you have a favorite that you've gotten to run?
My dogs, I loved running my Border Collie Moth. He was my first fast dog, and he was my first boy, and he was just the best. And my Crave has been super fun and scary to run because she's so crazy, and so like her legs are the size of little twigs, really. And so watching her go, you're just like, oh, please don't break, please don't break. But I love running her. She's just such she's just so competitive and so drivey and just fun. So
now, is there a dog out there that you still love to watch, or one that that got you hooked more when you first started?
When I first started, there's a lady in PEI named Rachel Hope, and all of her dogs were incredibly talented. She had a mini Aussie that ran on their A team for years, and that dog was amazing, absolutely amazing. Like, they would break their record, they would have the region record, with this little dog, this little mini Aussie. And then she got a Malinois, and that dog was insane to watch. So the local dogs that I remember watching early on were Rachel's dogs and just being wow.
Is there anyone else that you love watching?
I loved seeing Hive run at Can-Am. He was the most consistent fast dog that I've seen at that point run. I mean, his runs were all 3/4s, and it was just incredible time after time to see that. And now locally we have Uber, and he's just starting out, and he's a beast to watch. His best time so far is 3:35. So watching him run and come back is really amazing.
Awesome. That's cool. Now, what exactly do you like about playing flyball?
I love the team aspect, which I think I've said many times. I love my flyball family. I love being out in the lanes and just laughing together and sort of pushing each other. I love close racing in every division. I mean, it's a thrill and it's a rush to be in Division 1, but any of the divisions that you have tight racing, I love it. Even a few years ago, our region had a really good vets division going, and that was crazy fun to see, the close times, and you look and you're like, who won that? I love that. That's probably my favorite part, is wondering and waiting for the time to come up and wonder who did win that race.
That's awesome. Now, do you like starting or passing more?
I used to love starting. My first dog, Zoe, she only ran starts. And then Moth started doing starts, and then I had to learn how to pass him. And so I do like passing. I get a little nervous sometimes, still to this day. The first race of the day, I am a wreck worrying about my passes. So I do like passing more, I think, than starts now.
Excellent. That's cool. Now, is there a team out there that you haven't been able to watch yet that you would love to watch?
I think, when we went to Can-Am, we were really in awe watching some of the crazy, 14-second runs and that. I think that sort of has had me seeing a lot of the teams that I'd hoped to see and wanted to see. And overseas, I'd love to be able to see them live as well. But I don't see that ever happening, unfortunately.
That's fair. All right. Now, what would be one of your earliest memories of flyball?
Zoe's debut. Again, she only had 4 weeks of training, and she loved to tug. Her name, we ended up calling her the chiropractor, because she would just beat you up. But in the beginning, for whatever, she was young, and she had this little small, it was on a little bungee and just this ball, and it was from the dollar store, and it was so chintzy. And I can remember being so nervous, and her coming back full tilt for this little tiny tug, and she grabbed it, and the ball came off of this tug and flew there, in amongst the people sitting off to the side and hit someone in the head. That was great. That would be one of my first, yeah.
That's good. All right, so do you have another favorite memory of flyball, whether it's on or off the racing lanes?
I would say we host a tournament called Pirates of the Atlantic, and several years ago we had a few away teams came, Rocket Relay came, and everyone was staying at the same hotel, and we had a shooter party on the Saturday night of the tournament. So everyone had to bring a bottle of booze, and we were passing it around and doing shots. And I mean, the stories that came out of that were kind of, well, very hilarious. And just so many laughs, and everybody came together. I mean, there were a ton of people there. And it was just such a fun time to just all be together.
For sure. I bet you Sunday was quite the nightmare for hangovers.
There might have been, I won't say who, someone who put their underwear on backwards and inside out and didn't realize it until they got to the tournament. Wasn't me. Wasn't my team.
That's awesome. All right.
Of course, so it's in the summer of the dead heat too, so it's brutal, hot.
That's crazy. Now, do you have any personal goals playing the sport?
Every Division I team in our region right now is vying to get into the 14, so that's where we're working on that and hoping.
The dreaded 14, how close are you guys?
I know. Our best is 15.5 right now, but we just changed. We just had our first tournament with our new height dog, of course, before our off season, so we haven't been able to put that together again. So it was her first tournament on our A team, and she wasn't even 2 at that point, and we hit, we almost broke our PB of 15.5 with her in her first tournament with our A team. So we'll see.
That's awesome.
You never know, what you run at practice and what you actually do in a tournament can be two very, very different things.
That's right. The dreaded calculator comes out and sees a good run.
Absolutely. Right. Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you have anyone in flyball that you look up to as a mentor, whether it was when you first started or continuing to this day?
When I first started, my mentor was Jane Smith, and she got me really going in the sport and helped us when we started our own club, really gave us a lot of help back then. Now my go-to is Aaron Robbins. He's helped our team a lot, and I appreciate being able to bounce things off of him and getting his feedback and his guidance and that.
Excellent. That's good. Now, do you have any hobbies outside of playing flyball?
In the summer, we boat. And then all year, I drink wine. Yeah, I hike the dogs. I'm a lot of a homebody the last 10 years or so. So I just sort of like to nest in my house.
That's fair. That's cool. All right. Well, I think that's all the questions I have for you, Amanda. The only thing left is if I could get you to challenge someone to do an interview with me. Do you have anyone in mind?
I sure do. I would like to challenge Connor McLeod from Back and Forth in Scotland.
Excellent.
We have a couple of Scottish teammates. They moved here a year and a half ago, and one of their good friends, Catherine, is on his team, and I met Catherine last year, and I've been chatting with Catherine and Connor a little bit online, so I figure that would be a good one for you to do.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much. I will hopefully reach out to them real soon. But other than that, that's all I have, Amanda. So thanks again for taking time out of your day. And it was great meeting you. And hopefully we'll see each other on the racing lanes real soon. Thanks again, Amanda. It was great actually getting to meet you. And hopefully we'll see each other real soon. If you guys are new here, make sure you hit that subscribe button and that notification bell to make sure you get all the notifications when a new video drops. If you guys would hit that like button as well and leave any comments down below, that would be fantastic if you like today's interview. I've also decided to get into the Instagram game, so I'm going to leave a link down below for you guys as well. If you like some information on flyball in general, there's lots of links in the description below. If you'd like some information on Amanda's team, there is also a link in the description below. And hopefully we'll see you guys again real soon. Until next time, see you then.